How are all of you beautiful people doing? Huh? How are all of my friends and supporters doing? And haters. That there's really not, I'm not popular enough to have haters yet. But I'm sure the things I say can be considered divisive if you are in support of biblical perceived biblical prophecies as being claimed to ancient land, and the slaughtering of children as being a necessary component of that subjugation and the completion of that mission, then yeah, you're not going to like me. If that's the type of person you are, if that's the sort of ideology that you have, you are gonna hate me. And I like that. Give it to me, baby. Feed me that kind of hatred. I live on that kind of hatred. I swim in that little water. I will suck up every one of the anti-Semite comments that you're willing to make at me. And guess what? I'm not the only one that is getting darts. Here is the beautiful and intelligent, and I low-key have a crush on her, and I'm not alone, I'm sure. There's quite the market for Anna Kasparian out there. I have a crush on her brain. And she's not too hard on the eyes either.
This morning, as I was walking my dog, as I always do early in the morning, all of a sudden I was confronted by someone. A woman who I've seen in the neighborhood before, never had any issues with her. And since I've seen her in the neighborhood before and I never had any issues with her, I didn't think much of
Thanks for watching, guys.
What was going to happen as I was approaching her. So I'm walking my dog. She's standing in the middle of the sidewalk with her dog, and her dog's going nuts, like unruly. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, she's trying to train her dog. Her dog, looks like it might be a younger dog, whatever. And as I'm approaching, she's looking at me in a menacing way. Like she has a weird wide stance, and I'm like, I still am not thinking much of it. I'm just thinking, okay, she's probably irritated with her dog acting like this, so let me just go around her. So I literally walk into the street in order to go around her and her dog. As I do that, she starts with her crazy unruly dog approaching me and Charlie, essentially like sicking her dog at me, but not letting the dog loose from the leash. Thank God, okay? At that point, by the way, I'm listening to music, I'm minding my own business, I'm trying to avoid her. And then when she's like coming at me with her dog, I like take my headphones out and I'm like, what's going on? And she's like, you're a Jew hater. And I'm like, okay, well, obviously there's a misunderstanding, so let me have a conversation with her. But she's like screaming at me, it's 7 in the morning. And I'm like, wait, hold on. And then she brings up, oh, you were rubbing your hands and making fun of the Jews. This is Canary Mission propaganda, full stop. And it's in reference to this. Let me show you what they've posted on social media. Now, they claim that I'm doing the happy merchant meme, which, by the way, I've seen that photo all over the internet before. I didn't know it was called the happy merchant meme. I don't live in 4chan, okay?
I don't care. I don't care. Listen. I have an uncircumcised pro-Jewish penis, okay? I'm going to tell you guys right now. Right down here is the only part of me that is Jewish. Circumcised penises are superior, okay? Have you looked at those little Chinese finger trap looking things that we were born with? All right? Do not like those. How did I get on this segue? How did I get to the point where I'm talking about uncircumcised penis versus circumcised penis? How did we get to this moment right now where you, the viewer, are watching me? Let me explain something. The little happy merchant thing, it might be fulfilling, it might be presenting a negative stereotype. They don't come from nowhere. When you're perpetuating and living by a negative stereotype, then you're living by that stereotype. And what she was talking about there is, oh, we'll just steal the land. We'll just do this. That right there, that has less to do with the happy merchant and much more to do with the evil. Even Dr. Evil did it. Ooh, I'm going to steal. It is a supervillain thing. I'm going to rub my hands together and I'm going to think of a plan. I'm going to get AIPAC and I'm going to buy Congress. Miriam Adelson's going to literally pay to arm Zionist invaders in the West Bank so that they could violently steal property from people or bomb children in Gaza. Yet, we're going to criticize you if you discuss the fact that they are actually living examples of negative stereotypes. I will not be subjected or allow myself to get pushed into a corner by these disgusting hypocrites who wish to purchase your freedom. Your freedom of speech is on the chopping block right now. If they could do, and I want you to understand this right now, I want you to look at me in the eyes right now when I tell you this. If they could do to me and you the same things that they did to those people in Gaza and get away with it, I have zero doubt in my mind that they would do that. It's a fact, okay? The only reason that they don't do that is the fact that they're outnumbered. That's why. That's the only reason. They want your complete subjugation, my friends. Let's continue on and listen to Anna Kasparian get attacked. And I guarantee you that whoever this is that attacked her out, that came at her menacingly in the streets of LA, has never actually watched any of her long form content in recent times. Only the interpretation of it by a third party. Someone almost like, imagine a Zionist version of me right now, or like a Ben Shapiro, obviously, but that's the only scope of perception and bias that she's been subjected to.
Talking about one specific person, so I brought that up to her. I was like, I was talking about Larry Ellison, one specific person who wants to surveil us 24/7, so we're all on our best behavior.
You're gonna be on your best behavior.
And then she immediately switched to a different aggrieved, issue that she had, the other issue that she's aggrieved about, which I'll get to in a second. Go ahead.
Yeah, and so look, I feel like the pro-Israel radicals have planted so-called tropes all around us, so that you're never allowed to criticize Israel in any way, shape, or form, or in any style, or with any body emotions, or with any words, because everything's a trope. Everything's a trope.
I wasn't even criticizing Israel. I was criticizing one specific person. We're going to show you the video in a second. Hold on. Go ahead.
And then Larry Ellison's later in this program, we're going to show you a story about how he's trying to build these giant things in Gaza.
AI centers.
AI centers, which meaning like, oh yeah, obviously Israel's going to take Gaza. Obviously, we're going to ethnically cleanse them. We might or might not use them for forced labor. But other than that, we're taking Gaza. So yes, and Larry Ellison, who bought CBS, Paramount, and TikTok, and expressly for the purpose of doing propaganda for Israel, they're not even hiding it. They say they paid more for Barry Weiss's site, way more. I'm in the business, I know. They paid an outrageous sum, and then they bragged to the press about, well, that's because she's pro-Israel. Then Netanyahu comes and says, we're taking over TikTok, and we're thinking about X, etc. And then they say, and by the way, they committed a genocide. They murder over 70,000 people, the Israelis do, not Jewish people. The only people saying Jewish people are pro-Israel zealots.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? We live in a world where people that are perpetrating, that have financially and militarily protected a country committing a genocide and at minimum ethnic cleansing so that they could capture their land, genuinely expect that they can get a Nobel Peace Prize because they decided to stop. They tell you exactly what they're doing. They do it right in front of your face, and then they attack you when you call it out. It's masterful, and their level of infiltration is it's undeniable. They've worked very hard to get where they're at right now, and they're doing quite well. They are the world's premier, top-of-the-line subjugators. They are killer at it. We got a lot of different things to crack open today. Some other news for the day. Let's take a look over. There we go. I'm going to hop around here. Oh, yeah, some stuff for David, D4VD. We'll go into a little bit of that today. We got some exciting new news over here. And, oh, wow, college football star in charge with girlfriend's death. See, you got a lot of fake news over here, like, David arrested. Yeah, no, he definitely was not arrested. He was never arrested. If you haven't heard of David, he's a pop star. In fact, if you haven't heard of David, maybe I should do a whole nother episode where we do a deeper dive into this guy, but he's a very talented pop artist, okay? I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that he's not. He is. The guy is really good, okay? I'm not going to diminish someone's art just for being a murderer. And I'm not saying that he did the murder, okay? But it's looking a little suspicious. So anyways, 20-year-old pop star, D4VD, also David was his name. He was in a bit of a relationship with a minor. And this girl, the day after her 15th birthday, was discovered dead and decomposed in a black Tesla that was abandoned in Hollywood Hills that was registered to none other than David himself. So, I'm not sure if her body was dismembered, but it was in a black plastic bag. Sorry for the gruesome details. The reason I give those to you is because it's important to understand the position of this body at the time, and the fact that it was obviously a plan of theirs to find a way to dispose of it. Now, in an interesting twist of events, we have a situation where the homeowner of the house that was being rented in Hollywood Hills, which was being rented to by this pop star, David. I wish I could show you his stuff, but I would get copywritten. So David's a great pop star. He's renting. Yeah, he's 20 years old. He's been at it since he was a teenager, and he starts dating this girl a couple years back from Lake Elsinore, who's been missing for over a year now. And she's only 14. And he knows this, by the way, because some leaked footage of him live streaming shows him with her, in which she had made comments towards his sexual relationship with her and her being a child. And so that really ties in the case quite massively against David. Now, was it a situation where he was trying to leave? Was he trying to break up with her and she was holding that whole entire thing over his head because obviously he was committing a crime? Did she accidentally overdose and they didn't know what to do with the body because you don't just want a dead minor at your house? I don't know. Maybe he just killed her. All I know is a couple new updates have come in, and we'll hop over here, and I'm going to just kind of fast forward to the certain spots. Here we go.
Was found in an impounded car registered to the singer David. But the LA County District Attorney is sharing an update. We'll explain to you what this newest development means about the case.
This is Inside the Crime, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Elizabeth Milner. Questions have been swirling since the discovery of Celeste's body. Weeks into the investigation, though, no arrests, no official charges, still an active case. Even the LA County District Attorney saying that the case hasn't been presented to his office.
Since the discovery of 15-year-old Celeste, there are two questions lingering on a lot of minds. What happened to her, and why isn't anyone charged in connection to her death? She didn't just put herself in the front trunk of that Tesla.
Right.
She didn't wrap herself in plastic.
Exactly.
Let's run through the timeline real quick. In April of 2024, Celeste was reported missing by her family in Lake Elsinore. According to reports, she was found by police and then returned home. But the following month, she was reported missing again. More than a year later, in August of this year, a Tesla registered to David Anthony Burke, or known by his stage name David, but spelled with a 4, the position of the tires on the Tesla were marked by authorities. Why is that important? Because a week later, a parking citation was issued, and 2 days after that, the Tesla was impounded. Police were alerted to Celeste's body after tow workers noticed a foul odor coming from the car. And on September 8th, her remains were found, a day after her 15th birthday. On September 17th, now 9 days after the gruesome discovery, detectives with the LAPD Robbery Homicide Division served a search warrant on David's rental home, and several bags of evidence were taken from the home, including surveillance video from inside the home. Now, a day after the rental home was raided by police over in Texas, where David's parents live, officers swarmed his parents' home after getting calls of an active shooter.
Waller County Sheriff's Office is Amber. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, Waller County Sheriff's Office.
It's very odd. This whole thing is so odd.
Hello, I need help.
Okay, what's going on? Where are you at?
Oh, my address is...
Okay, what's going on?
I heard, some, gunshots.
Okay. How close to your residence were they?
They were, right outside my house, and I think someone's dead.
That is so odd. So odd. Okay, I want to give a little bit of context to this. Okay? So, if you have any idea what I'm looking at, because some people I've noticed have been hopping on the stream just now. This is David that we're talking about. D4VD, the pop singer. So, obviously, I'm sure most of you that have been covering this case, extremely suspicious circumstances of an underage girl being wrapped up in a plastic bag and left in the trunk of a car that gets abandoned in Hollywood Hills. So the two new updates here is that they have now corroborated the fact that there was a police call about a month and a half ago, and that was pinged, meaning the cell phone data has shown that it was being called from the physical location of none other than the pop singer's parents' home. And the police come, and obviously you could see the parents are very surprised, as we're going to continue on here. They have no idea what's going on, and the police continue to explain to them that they received a call about gunshots, and that whoever it was on the phone, and it appears that there was some sort of a voice changer there. I'm not sure if there's a voice changer, but you could tell by the way the words are scrambled that we're talking about someone who's not fully mentally developed, or maybe possibly is just scrambled up and a little bit out of it. You know, maybe they smoked some weed and then all of a sudden they heard some gunshots. Either way, they're definitely not as decisive with their words, and they sound very jumbled up, and they sound like an adolescent. Potentially could be a 20-year-old. maybe it is David that made this call, but it pinged over to the location of his house, of his parents' house. And they look very surprised, confused by the whole thing. So that's just an interesting thing that it doesn't prove anything. All it is just an odd new part of the case that I think really a lot of people aren't talking about that much. Was he in this location at the time? Are there people that have access to his vehicle that are trying to frame him for something? I don't know. The fact that he hasn't been arrested yet indicates that they don't have at this moment with the information the LAPD has received, they do not have a case beyond probable cause, right? They don't have a case beyond probable cause. Beyond a reasonable doubt. Probable cause and reasonable doubt are very different things. So he hasn't been charged with the crime yet. And the district attorney's office in LA, they have not received the case yet because no charges have been formally filed. All right. Anyways, let's continue on here so you guys can see just how odd it is that that this phone call was made, and the parents are absolutely dumbfounded. They genuinely look surprised. I really don't think they're trying to cover anything up here. I don't think it's anything like that. And that the cell phone data has pinged this location as being where the call came from. Weird, right? And now here's the police cam footage from that night when that call was made.
Can you repeat, sir? Broken traffic.
That's not normal activity. If you were at the wrong address, they'd be concerned about somebody else. Like really? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they'd be trying to help.
In Tinder 42, sir?
Engine and Tinder 42.
That's clear, sir.
I'm gonna go put my rifle up.
I'm going to save you guys the time here.
Oh, we got it. Somebody was dead.
I'm going to save you the time here. I'm going to move it up to where here. Let's go over here. They walk around. They don't see anything. Now here they're going over to open up the door. And this is none other than the pop singer's parents answering the door here. It is not known whether or not David was visiting his parents at this time. This is not information that I've received. And I feel like it would be relevant information that would be shared in this long crime episode if that was information that they had been able to confirm. So as of right now, there's no indication that David was visiting his family at the time of this crime, which just adds a whole nother layer of mystery.
Sorry to bother you, but somebody called and said there was something. I mean, there was a person where they called on themselves. You know what I mean? It was like, hey, there's somebody dead.
Someone's dead. Yeah.
That's why we had to take caution, you know what I mean? Wasn't trying to scare y'all, just... This house is way off the roadway.
So you just opened the gate and came in?
Yes, ma'am. I'll put it back. I have a gate just like it.
I think it's trying to get my country.
Yeah, when it's something like this, when they say somebody's dead, their life matters more than, you know what I mean? I didn't damage your gate, I just opened it.
How would I find a number like this? I only have all names on my phone.
Just go to the number where you type it in, and it should just, when you type it in, it should just come up as a name.
Well, she only gave the last 4.
Hey, what's the whole number? Go to your numbers, right here, this button. Hey, what's the whole number?
The parents of David, this is very odd. His parents seem completely dumbfounded by the fact.
It ain't on their phone.
So neither one of these parents made the call, obviously. This is what's getting proven. That this mysterious call that was being pinged from the location of David's house about a gunshot going off and that they fear somebody might be dead. And a voice that is very shaken and definitely sounds like a child. Like a young, very young adult, like barely legal adult / maybe a teenager. Just the way they talk is very, very much so in the early stages.
Not a, this is not a Texas.
Yeah, that's an out-of-state number.
Very odd. Just really weird.
But it would ping here though, because wherever they call from, it pings and sends it to dispatch.
What the what?
So like whenever you call 911, wherever you are, it sends like a ping that's how they know the address.
Geolocation of the phone call.
And this address came up to this number.
Yes, ma'am, that's where he was meeting with Kelly to Engine 42.
So is there somebody on my property?
It could be. We'll check the property for you. Yes, please. So we'll ride around. If you can give me a layout, how's the property? Like, does it go further? Like,
no, it doesn't go any further back. It's right here, and then it goes
on the fence. There's a gate here and the fence around, which is a private fence. Okay. Well, him and I will ride around and check, and then we'll leave, and I'll put the pin back. All you do is pull that pin and then I'll put it all back together. Thank you, sir. But yeah, no, I'll take it apart because when it's something like that, when somebody says something like that, we got to get up here to save somebody's life, you know?
Yeah, okay. So that was a false alarm. See, I don't like this kind of thing. So if I really do have an emergency, then
yeah.
Very odd. Okay. Very
Thank you, ma'am.
odd.
Sorry.
Well, if you do have an emergency, you know we're going to be here.
Okay.
We're going to get here.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
All right.
Police say the call was a total hoax, a swatting prank. There was no active shooter and no one else on the property besides David's family.
Weird.
2 days after detectives searched the $20,000 a month rental property, David canceled his Withered World tour. On September 24th, Celeste's body was released back to her family. On that same day, movers were seen boxing up items in David's rental home. Now, the homeowner reportedly said David's manager informed him they'd be breaking the lease and moving out by the end of the week. David's manager did finally speak out about the speculation on social media. He wrote on social media, quote, "This is the only time I'll speak on this matter, for now. This has been a tough time for my family as I am a father of 3 children. I receive no emails and I'm no one's roommate. I live full-time at home with my wife and kids. My daughter is 14 and this news is affecting so many lives. I never received any emails. I had zero knowledge of anything and I don't live in California. Also, I work remotely 95% of the time and my job doesn't require me to have much interaction with any of my clients / David, as there are many others that work with him on a day-to-day capacity, not me. This news is tragic for so many and for her family. I hope the proper authorities get to the bottom of it soon. Let me remind a lot of people this is speculation and alleged. In the meantime, I'm with my family helping them emotionally get through the news of this tragedy. Please report on factual information." Again, David hasn't been named by officials as a suspect or a person of interest.
Right.
What's tying him to the investigation seems to be that Celeste was found in his car, right? But there's a reason some fans believe there's more to this story. There's the matching tattoos both David and Celeste have. Celeste's mom told TMZ her daughter had a boyfriend named David. Then in a leaked song, he professed his love to someone named Celeste. The song titled Celeste Demo Unthinned was reportedly leaked in December of 2023, months before Celeste was reported missing the first time. Then his music videos have been seen in a new light. Way before canceling his tour, the singer reportedly performed with a casket on stage. And in the music video for his song One More Dance, it features a body being dragged into a trunk.
Damn, that's so weird. So weird.
In that video, though, David played both the victim and the killer. The video was released back in February, 7 months before the discovery of Celeste's body. So is this all a coincidence, or is there more to it? Well, friends of David previously told TMZ Celeste and the singer were romantically involved, but they reportedly said they didn't think that she was a child. They thought she was a college student at USC.
Flithy.
Because remember, Celeste was barely
I love you,
15
Flithy.
years old when she was found dead. David is 20 years old, meaning if it's true, when David recorded his Celeste Unfinished demo song, was he singing about a 13-year-old when he was 18?
God, that is weird.
Law enforcement sources
dude
previously confirmed to TMZ that Celeste allegedly used...
He was singing about a 13-year-old when he was 18. Okay, I'm sorry. That's a big difference. A 5-year difference when you're 18 is a big difference, okay? The difference between a 25-year-older and a 20-year-older is not the same as a 18 and a 13-year-older. I know that sounds weird, but it's like the further you age, the less of a percentage 5 years is. And the difference between 18 and 13 is psychologically, developmentally, a considerably different category. And you know this as well as I do. It seems to me like the likelihood of this being some sort of a situation where he's trying to do damage control, one way or another, whether he physically killed her or she overdosed by accident, is yet to have played out because we don't have any charges. But some of the new information that has come up is very, it's really good to know that we're going to have at least a definitive charge that is going to be arising here, with, at minimum, the disposal of a body, the illegal disposal and concealment of a body is without a doubt a felony. Of course, if you're the district attorney's office and you are the investigators here for LA County, you are going to be doing everything you can and as fast as you can, especially in a high-profile case like this, to build a Loctite case. That case, it's necessary that you have beyond a reasonable doubt evidence. So no charges being dropped as of now is nothing really out of the norm from everything I've seen with the interviews here. They all appear to have said quite conclusively that they're not surprised. Many high-powered attorneys in the LA area have, spoken on this and said, "Oh no, listen, this, believe me, this is normal when a suspicious body has been found, even if it's been found in the trunk of a vehicle and registered to somebody's name. If we need to be able to have a case that sticks." Of course, David lawyered up right away. And, so just really gross stuff.
Multiple fake IDs to get her access to age-restricted events. So maybe it's possible he didn't know her age. That's still unclear. We did recently
He
learn
knew
David
her
hired
age.
a high-profile criminal defense attorney.
He knew her age, okay? There's video of him where she said, I'm gonna say, she's on a stream with him and she says something to the effect of, "You effing kids," and started laughing, and he looked over at her and said, "I thought I media trained you. Delete the video, delete the video, delete the video." He knew it was up. There's no doubt that he knew it was up. And his case is completely toast by that entire... It's done. It's done. As far as him being able to claim plausible deniability is in regards to her age, that's just not something that, with the given information that I have already, let alone what the DA has. Well, the DA doesn't have anything yet. Like I said, the investigators have. So, no investigation. No charges have been officially dropped. The investigation is still open. And here's where it gets there's a weird turn of events here, where the owner of the building has decided, you know what, I'm going to pay for a private investigation. And let's see if we can get over here to this. Okay, here's the lawyer up here. Let's see. I want to try and find that private investigator for you guys. We're going to hop into this. We're going to go private investigator.
Defense attorney. Although it's been reported he's been cooperating with the police investigation, David reportedly tapped Blair.
Wait, that video is not here right now. How weird. Okay, here we go.
Somebody put a dead or soon-to-be-dead teenage runaway in the trunk of her boyfriend's Tesla and ditched that Tesla on an upscale street in the Hollywood Hills. And weeks later, that Tesla with the rotting corpse inside was ticketed and towed away.
Brutal.
That's
brutal.
May or may not have had a hand in the runaway's death, but my money is on yes.
Yeah.
And more than a month.
He has
after
too
the
many
news
motives.
First hit the headlines with the discovery of the decomposing body of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. The name of that somebody is as unknown to us officially as ever, but apparently not to everybody. The identity of the person who abandoned that Tesla, a filthy luxury car.
By the way, I know
owned
this
by the
street.
Singer David, with David's 14-year-old girlfriend dead inside, is now known to investigators. And tonight, we're learning that both the car and driver were captured on surveillance video the last time that car was apparently driven by anyone. Even better, we've learned the driver was visible enough in that footage to be identified later on. LA police are not talking about this or anything else in the Celeste death investigation. The bombshell video was unearthed by the private investigator hired by the owner of the house where David lived up until a couple of weeks after Celeste was found dead in his car. And that's not the only piece of evidence that the PI unearthed. That investigator's name is Steve Fisher, and he joins me now live. Steve, welcome back to the program. How certain are you that this video of the car driving away from David's mansion is the last time it drove and ended up at the spot where it was abandoned, likely with that body inside?
I'm certain. Listen, I can't say 100% because there's not a camera trained on that Tesla once it's parked. Continuously that I've seen. I mean, there likely is a camera, but I've seen the car driven to that spot, and with the dates, with the date that it was, and they left town right after that. I'm certain that is the last time the car was driven. It was put there with her, in the front trunk.
And there's one weird detail about what you could, well, there's a lot of weird details, and I'm going to get to what you saw through the driver's side window in a second, but there was an air freshener that was found in the car at this point that we see on our screen, where it was abandoned. Was that air freshener also hanging from the rear view mirror when it drove off from David's house?
It wasn't, but the window was half to 3/4 of the way down, which is odd because it was a very short drive, and also at that on that day, this is the very end of July 29th. It was like 78 degrees at that time in the morning, or 77 degrees, and if it was on the street where the house is, so it's shaded by the house. So if you're going, I don't know why the window would be rolled down unless there's something offensive there. And then all of a sudden, one of the first things I picked up on when the news first broke about her being found in there, where they were towing the car away from the impound lot to LAPD, was why on a $104,000 car is there a Christmas tree air freshener hanging from the from the mirror? It seemed kind of odd to me, but I guess maybe they thought that would help mask it for when they had to move the car again.
If there was that smell at that time, because again, we have no idea when Celeste started decomposing in that trunk. We don't know if
So
she was
sad.
decomposing in
Just
the
a
trunk
young
for
girl.
long time before it ended up being the car ended up being abandoned. But talk to me about the date of this video, July 29th, and talk to me about what you saw. What did you see in terms of the identity of the person driving through that open window?
So it's very clearly that Tesla, one, because the Tesla has that tape on the rear spoiler for whatever reason. I don't know why it's there. And also, it was just like it is in that picture. It was that dirty, except you could tell that they had run the windshield wiper like once to clear the dirt away so they could see. And it comes very close to the camera, although there is some motion blur, but you can see the person and you can see what they're wearing, something pretty distinctive. And there's photos that I have from 12 hours earlier, a person at the house wearing the same thing.
There it is.
And I know that the viewers right now are screaming at the...
So there we go. That's pretty much it. He was able to identify them by what they were wearing and the footage, and then also reconfirm that this individual had gone back to their house, or to the house, because like I said, we don't know for a fact with the information he's been given that driver was in fact David, the pop star. Anyways, that is a little interesting for sure. Look at this. Here we go. There it is. There's the footage.
Shocking new video emerges in the bizarre David case, showing what appears to be the singer alongside Celeste, the young girl whose body was found inside his Tesla. And listen closely. What the girl says could be very incriminating.
That's controversial.
It's controversial of kids.
This is Scandal, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Sierra Gillespie.
There it is. We don't need to listen to her interpretation. I'm going to tell you right now. Wait, I just want to see that little bit of footage that they're not showing. Here it is.
Well, they likely have a lot of evidence. In terms of Twitch, they may be...
It was a Twitch
people
stream.
Online sleuths sending stuff in. And LAPD is going to get all that video directly from the content
I like how
provider or person else, Twitch, YouTube, wherever he has a social media presence.
Somebody said David Epstein flight list. Damn, that's dark. On the comment section in that Twitch video, someone said David Epstein. Yeah, he's definitely Epsteining it. Though he's far from Epstein in my opinion, even though he's a dirtbag. He's 30 years younger than Epstein was, okay? I'm not saying there's degrees and levels to this shit. It's not good at all, okay? It's not good, it's not cool. It's not legal, it's not moral, but it is definitely not in the same category as, well, I mean, he did kill her. He probably killed her. Okay, he probably killed her. I would be shocked to see the sort of defense, the sort of picture they're gonna have to paint of circumstances, because they're gonna have to argue that he was set up. And this new footage of somebody hopping out of the car and leaving it with her body in it is the smoking gun that we need to get at least the unlawful disposal of a body. Now, of course, we haven't gotten the toxicology reports. The one thing that has come recently in the autopsy results is the toxicology. I mean, not the toxicology, but they have confirmed that Celeste was in fact not pregnant. So the whole narrative that she was pregnant and wanted to have a kid or whatever, that whole scenario is not holding water as of now with the newest information that's come about. Okay, so let's take a little look now and see what I really like. Kim Iverson. Oh, you know what? We're gonna look at this gag orders. We're gonna look at the gag orders. This is a really interesting update on the Charlie Kirk. And you want to talk about flashing bright red lights. Okay, Charlie Kirk conspiracy. Who is Rick Cutler? Candace Owens, gag orders.
I really can't believe I'm filming this video right now. I wasn't going to make this video, but it turns out that Candace Owens has a gag order and can't speak at all. And I got banned on Reddit again yesterday because I posted this conspiracy theory about...
This is absolutely nuts. I'm sorry. This is crazy. They are putting a gag order on Candace Owens. If you can't see that as an indication that there's something bigger to the story, then there's no hope I could have for you. You know what you are? You're the type of person that during COVID insisted that in order for your vaccine to work, that I needed to have a vaccine. For your mask to be effective, that I needed to wear a mask. Okay? It is at face value. Bare minimum. So psychologically back asswards, okay, for you to have that sort of mental gymnastics necessary for you to maintain your belief that this conspiracy you know, that the mainstream narrative is the truthful narrative in this regards. How about that? We'll leave it at that. Let's hear what this guy has to say about the gag orders. Absolutely nuts. No way.
Charlie on Reddit. His name's Rick Cutler. He is a retired police officer and an expert on special weapons and how to fake events.
What?
He is head of military training in Guatemala and is contracted with the U.S. government. What are the odds that the guy that appears to shoot Charlie Kirk
Oh my God!
is also ex-Israeli military?
No way!
And what are the odds when I go to talk about this on the internet, it all gets taken down? What are the odds that all of Rick Cutler's social media posts are being taken down from the internet right now?
Of course they're scrubbing him.
And if I don't make a video about this, it's going to be gone forever. There's no telling what Candace Owens is doing in the background right now. Nick Fuentes thinks that this is all BS. And I really don't know what to make of it at this point.
I'm still
right?
shocked
Now,
about Nick Fuentes.
There's not much on the internet left. It's all getting scrubbed. But if you ask Grok who Rick Cutler is, it says, is a retired police officer from Irving, Texas with 29 years of experience who moved to Guatemala after retiring in 2019 for missionary and training work. He was present at the September 10th, 2025 event where Charlie Kirk was assassinated by Tyler Robinson. Online theories speculate his involvement due to the video footage, but official investigations name Robinson as the sole suspect and no other charges against Cutler. And then somebody asked,
wow,
can you elaborate on the theories you're referring to? And says theories claim video footage Cutler palming a concealed barrel like a CIA-style palm gun from his hip case, with his hand jerking in recoil as a bullet bows. Shock appears midair from his position. Proponents argue that security roles enabled a point-blank betrayal, citing scrubbed online traces in Guatemala training as a deep state cover-up tied to Charlie Kirk's anti-establishment view. Yet official ballistics attribute the fatal wound to Tyler Robinson's distant rifle shot with a .30-06, by the way, which would have incinerated Charlie.
Yeah, would have
Dismissing
essentially
Cutler as a
decapitated
bystander
him.
with no forensics links or charges. And everything is getting scrubbed right now, guys. I posted this video on Reddit. It gets me banned. Candace Owens can't speak, and Nick doesn't believe any of the conspiracies. And nobody's talking about this, so that's why we're doing this today. What I will say is when you start talking about like this stuff on the internet, you can disappear overnight. For the people that know, but I'm not doing myself any favors by doing this video here. Ah, dang, almost fell on a rock. But there's not much information that's come out besides he's ex-headed training in Guatemala and a weapons expert in special weapons and CIA style, all that fun stuff. So I just find it awfully coincidental that it's ex-military with multiple years under his belt and a special trainer under special weapons. And nobody's talking about this. Every time
special
you go to talk
trainer.
about it, you're getting banned. You can only talk about this on X. And I feel like this video is probably going to get taken down off YouTube.
So it's absolutely
I don't
insane.
like doing content like this, boys. What I really wanted to do is motorcycle content, but with everything going on with the United States of America, it's at the point where the silent majority is actually speaking up.
We have to.
But I won't say what military done it, but I've been saying this since 9/11. This looks like a military hit, and I got a bunch of backlash for it. For whatever reason, my YouTube views have just plummeted since I made that Charlie video.
Yep.
And I thought, hey, maybe if I shut up and take it down, my views will come back. Well, they haven't. So here we are. I'm talking about Rick Cutler. What are you going to do about it? But like I will say, this is a conspiracy theory. Do not take this as news. We need more proof before we can decide that this is actually news. All right? Now, it does appear on video that we caught everything. But what everyone isn't talking about is the camera that was tampered with behind Charlie in high definition that would have caught this. That was tampered with by TPUSA, and nobody has had an eye, nobody has caught a charge, nobody's asked about the SD card. I mean, what kind of world are we in where all this is going on, and then we buy what the news is telling us. I mean, I think it's already killed his credibility with the Epstein list.
Here's the deal.
As for Candace,
Here's the deal. We have, at minimum, additional charges that should be given to any and everybody involved with the destruction of a literal crime scene. By going over and tampering with the crime scene, that's obstruction of justice right there. That is obstruction. And they are blatantly demolishing an entire crime scene. Do you want me to be honest with you? After digging into all of this, none of it adds up. A part of me, did you know that there's no official grave site right now for Charlie Kirk? What? Like, you can't just go to a gravesite and pay your respects, put flowers there with Charlie's body there. Why is that? Why? I'm not going to let this one go, especially now with these gag orders that are being released. It's time that we have to talk about it. I know sometimes you feel like you're beating a dead horse, but at the same time, if I reach one other person and that other person reaches somebody else, this is why we do this. This is why we do this, because it has to be discussed, because of the significance of this entire event is something that it cannot be brushed under. It cannot.
Owens, I think she knows too much. I think her life is in danger, and she's currently not allowed to speak about anything involving the Charlie Kirk incident, and if she does, she'll go to prison. I don't know if you guys know that, but Candace Owens literally has her mouth sewn shut at the moment. Do I expect her to respect the gag order? For now. I think eventually she's going to start talking, but I think she's going to have definitive proof at that point where it can't be disputed. I'm sure she's already consulting with lawyers to the point where she can speak again, but at the end of the day, we really don't know what's going to happen here with Candace. And I wasn't even going to make this video. Everyone's writing me off as crazy. I'm getting banned off the internet for even mentioning it. This doesn't help me at all whatsoever. But I just find it awfully suspicious with all this stuff going on. What's going on up here? I love stopping on uphill, you know? We're going uphill here, so I'm gonna give him some space.
This area looks very familiar to me.
What's very weird about the case with Tyler Robinson is I think they're gonna make him disappear, because the one court appearance that we got to see with him, I don't even think that was really him. I think that was a video they took and then looped the video because he didn't say a word in court. What they do on Pump.Fun when they're trying to scam you on crypto, and they just use a pre-recorded video to make you think it's actually live, but it's in fact not. That's what I think they did with in court. And the world shouldn't be like this. Why are we dealing with stuff like this? It doesn't make any sense. I don't understand, and I can't wrap my head around it. But it seems like we're being lied to about everything. And then we go to the government shutdown. If they leave the government shutdown any longer, the people are going to realize the government doesn't do anything at all. The government shutdown doesn't do anything because we're paying the military right now. That's the only people that suffer. Obviously, Congress is still going to get paid. So what's really shut down besides the IRS, where I can get my tax forms and get my sponsorship with BMW? Because they won't even talk to me till I get the tax forms done. But they're interested, so it could be pretty cool. Open up the government so I can talk to the IRS. That's a lot of them. Why are there police everywhere? It's got to be the most heavily funded police force I've ever seen. That hurt my...
Wow. I mean, that's just crazy to me that they put a gag order on Candace Owens. Charlie Kirk investigation gag order could change everything. Let's just see.
And then we're going to hear now about how this gag order and all the evidence that's we've seen and that's out there against Tyler Robinson is going to affect these thousands of people who were a witness to what went on at the Charlie Kirk event where he was assassinated. All right, so check this out from Fox 13 right there in Utah and see what they have to say.
Tyler Robinson's latest court hearing was brief, but some Winslow, Fox 13 News. Tyler Robinson's latest court hearing was brief, but some interesting things did happen, including one issue that could impact thousands of people here in Utah.
Good morning. Court is now in session.
Tyler Robinson was not present for the hearing. Instead, he listened in from the Utah County Jail.
He might not even be in there. He might already be dead.
Evidence from the crime scene.
There is a substantial amount of discovery in this case, Your Honor. It's voluminous, to say the least.
His lawyers entered their formal appearance and declined to waive his right to a preliminary hearing. Judge Tony Graff has issued a gag order preventing anyone associated with the case from talking about it. It's to avoid pretrial publicity, already a big problem in a case with massive media exposure involving a high-profile figure like Charlie Kirk. But the judge wants to ensure a fairer trial for Robinson. It's
That's
also brought up
bullshit.
a big issue involving thousands of people.
It's all bullshit.
With respect to the phrase "all witnesses," Your Honor.
Look at all those people.
There
all
are a
those
number of witnesses that have yet to be identified that will likely be used in the state's case. This occurred in front of 2,000 to 3,000 students at Utah Valley University. So we're in the process of identifying those witnesses. And so those individuals are presently unknown right now.
The court will rule that as the witnesses become known to each side.
Mind you, I just want to reiterate here that there was literally people that were trying to they were being interviewed by people, and they were being asked about what they saw, right? And people actively came up who were working for Turning Point and stopping them from discussing what they saw. That was odd. Very odd. The day of the event, we're talking an hour after the shooting, this kid was talking and goes, I was in the third row back, and I saw, I heard something come from the right-hand side, and I looked, and Charlie got shot in the neck, and then someone comes up and goes, hey, we're not doing this, and grabs him, forcefully, physically grabs him, and tells him, we're not doing this. That's odd. That's weird. Can we talk about how weird that is? Anyways, we're about an hour in right now, and I think we've gone over a pretty good amount of stuff. Let's see what Redacted has. People have no idea how big this Bolton indictment. Okay, another Trump assassination attempt in Florida, or a total coincidence? All right, we're gonna go in for this piece, and then we're gonna be done for this episode.
Did they just try to assassinate President Trump for a third time? The timing is a little more than suspicious. So just days before the No Kings protests kicked off, the Secret Service reportedly found an elevated hunting stand in a Florida tree-lined position with a direct line of sight to where President Trump would exit Air Force One in Palm Beach County. So a perfect place to fire a rifle round. And this wasn't just some random discovery, by the way. Agents uncovered it during an advanced security preparation sweep from the Secret Service ahead of his arrival in Palm Beach on Thursday. So here is this platform. Take a look at, here's the tree, here's the sniper platform up in this tree. And you might say, okay, whatever, big deal. This could just be a coincidence. After all, it's archery, crossbow season, muzzle-loading gun season right now in Palm County. And Palm County sits in Zone C. If you're a hunter, you know what this is. And you can see here the open dates for these particular seasons.
Oh, wow.
Season, archery season. By the way, it's far enough away that there's no way you're hitting President Trump with a bow and arrow. So, okay, it's hunting season in this particular part of the country right now, going after white-tailed deer.
I didn't know that there was hunting season in Palm,
hunting is not allowed
Palm, Florida.
In this area. It's illegal, in fact. Federal, state, local regulations prohibit the discharge of firearms in this spot at all in residential areas, and specifically hunting next to airports for safety reasons.
Seems
also, just
reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, don't shoot bullets near airplanes. That makes a lot of sense. Also, just look at the Palm Beach airport. Does this look like a good hunting area to you? Like, hey, I'm going to go out hunting, honey. Yeah, you going up in the mountains? No, I'm going next to the highway, next to the Palm Beach International Airport. Okay, here's a closer look at the location where this sniper tree stand was located.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Here's the tree stand on the left. Line of sight in this little copse of trees facing the international airport where Trump would land.
That's sketchy.
We'll get into all this in a second because it's just unbelievable as I'm going through all the data on this. Like, just take a look at this map. This is, here's an Apple map so you can just see what this looks like. I mean, you're not going hunting next to the highway.
Okay, I just want to, mention a couple things here. Just let's put on our tinfoil hats here for a moment, okay? What's happened in recent times? Well, Trump has announced unequivocally, though I don't trust him at all, that he will not allow the annexation of the West Bank to happen. He will not militarily provide support for that to happen, and that the ceasefire must hold steady. And he had reassured his Middle East allies, nations like, well, we got Qatar, and you have Lebanon, Yemen, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain. All these nations had all come together, and they were all part of contributing to the drafting of this peace negotiation that happened between Hamas and Israel, which is already being violated, by the way. Now you got these little indications that they are setting up a attempt to commit another assassination. Well, Peter Thiel has, without a doubt, created J.D. Vance as a little controlled political entity, and I would not be surprised if this ended up becoming a Lyndon B. Johnson situation like JFK, where they could just eliminate Trump and then they would have absolutely nothing in the way of their annexation and their greater Israel project, that we could just pull in J.D. Vance and use that, maybe try and frame some left-wing Hamas adjacent terrorists as being the one, the reason that Trump got killed. That wouldn't surprise me at all if that's what they were trying to do, because right now they have a small window where they have to be able to accomplish their goal, because America hates them now. America essentially hates Israel. It's just the way it is. And the youth especially, like, if they don't get this done now, if they don't get their Greater Israel Project done now, they are not going to have their Greater Israel Project, and it's not going to be changing anytime soon, because they need the support of the United States, militarily, financially, politically, to be able to continue. Even stuff like war crimes declarations from the United Nations, they've had the veto power of the United States. It's been a necessary element in them being able to continue with their hostile actions. So if Trump is realizing now that the pushback from this is going to destroy my legacy, that as much as much money as I've taken from Miriam Adelson, who literally arms Israeli settlers in the West Bank, literally arms them so that they could violently with hostile forces take over and seize property. And if they have to shoot a couple children to do that, then Hashem told them to do so. I like how I do the Catholic thing, like the Father, Son, Holy. They don't give a shit about that. They're people like this. They might claim to be Jewish, but they're not Jewish. They're satanic. Okay. Anyways, those are my theories as far as what's possibly going on here.
In a little copse of trees, because a lot of people online are like, that tree stand was there. It's used for hunting. It's no big deal. No, it's not. It is a big deal.
No, it's hunting there. Look at all the buildings
Doesn't
all
look like
around
a good
there.
hunting spot to me.
Yeah.
Right next to the highway with almost no trees around whatsoever.
Yeah, that's definitely
But
not.
even if you thought this was a good spot, it's illegal to fire a gun from this location. And it's not allowed.
It's not
Spot
even
is
legal.
Located specifically within an established no discharge and no hunting FAA safety zone. So it's illegal to fire any kind of a firearm near the airport. And take a look at this, just so you see what's also very odd about this location. You can see in red is the tree location. Notice what's right there next to it. Yeah, that's a police department. A forensic service is part of the police department. And then just separate from that, just a scroll, if you go to the left here a little bit, the Army Reserve Center is right there. Okay. Then a little bit further down the road is a gun club. Then right below that is a criminal justice complex with the sheriff's department and a full gun range. Very similar to things we saw in Butler, Pennsylvania during Trump's assassination attempt there with the Butler Gun Club and HSI. HSI, of course, Homeland Security Intelligence Services,
Wow.
who were very hung out at the Butler Gun Club on a regular basis. And we know that they like to hang out at these same gun clubs right here next to this Palm Beach International Airport. I'm just saying coincidence, but it's all very odd.
It's basically walled-in pond, very recluse, where you can go and do some relaxing hunting.
Like hey honey, this year for vacation, next year we're gonna go to a little copse of trees right next to the highway, right next to the airport.
Yes.
It's so quiet and beautiful.
Mhm.
And I might do a little hunting while I'm there.
Okay.
Up in the tree
It's
line.
like my second favorite way to camp. My favorite way is any other way. Any other place is better than that. But my second
Bonus if
favorite.
there's a 7-Eleven right next to it.
Or a Walmart parking lot, maybe. Even more relaxing.
Yeah, that sounds like a
Also,
good
I
place
find
to
it
go hunting.
interesting that someone searched for Palm Beach airport forests over 100 times prior to the Secret Service finding a sniper blind in a Palm Beach airport forest.
Weird. Did they try and
That's
angle
interesting,
where
isn't
that's
it?
coming from?
Why would anyone, and by the way, I went back years to look at search results for this as I was looking for this. Why would anyone in the world search for Palm Beach airport forests?
What? Yeah.
The dumbest thing I ever heard.
Like, and this happens right before the Secret Service conveniently find this thing? Okay. Just days before it would be discovered by Secret Service. FBI.
That
Deputy
is
Director
weird.
Bongino was on his favorite network, Fox News, today to update everyone about this. Listen.
But we saw this disturbing thing, a hunting stand right in the area of Palm Beach Airport, which would have had a clear shot at Air Force One. We can see it. What could you tell us about this, Dan?
Yeah, I was on the phone about this all day yesterday.
There's got to be some security footage.
You don't get the days off here. It's something you sign up for. So, it's unfortunate sometimes we got to take care of these things. We wish they wouldn't happen. But here's what happens with this. Let me walk the American public through how this works. The FBI is not responsible, obviously, for the security plan of the president. That's the purview of the Secret Service. However, if the Secret Service finds something that they believe could be criminal, I want to emphasize it could be, we take over. We have what's called an MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding with the Secret Service, where we will investigate after that. I was on the phone yesterday, back and forth with the D2, the Deputy Director over at the Secret Service, Matt Quinn, great guy. They were very concerned. Their security sweep discovered this hunting stand. The director Kash Patel was directly involved right away. I'm on the email chain with him. He ordered an immediate response. I believe we had our plane flown down there. This hunting stand was appropriately dismantled, being flown to our lab. I believe it's there right now. And all of the forensic tools we have, from digital tools to biometric tools, they are all going to be applied to try to find out who put this up there and why.
Mr. Deputy Director.
All right. So
The same people who found no silverware in the Butler alleged shooter apartment.
Yeah.
That is
the
so
kind of answers we will
strange.
expect.
Well, I mean, again, it's ridiculous.
No
and people are
silverware.
in the chat away. Well,
Like nobody lit.
There's nothing new here. This was just a simple hunting tree stand. Yeah, in an area where you're not allowed to hunt. Okay, fine. And as the deputy director just confirmed, it was in fact a hunting stand. It wasn't a tree house. Like, kids weren't there. By the way, it was literally next to an industrial zone. There's no houses anywhere near this particular spot.
It doesn't
It's
make
not
any
some
sense.
Kids just built a
No.
tree house behind the sheriff's station with a direct line of sight to where Air Force One lands. But we'll get more details on this. I'm sure it's totally nothing to see here. If you've been seriously injured, your case could be worth millions, and you should know exactly what your rights are. That's why I want to tell you about Morgan.
I'm going to tell you how the World Health Organization is spying on you. They told us so. This is what they're looking for, the next pandemic, they say. But okay, this is a new tracking software called Epidemic Intelligent from Open Source 2.0. We're going to call it EIOS or iOS. They say that they need it for pandemic preparedness, but it will automatically scan and analyze social media across 110 WHO member states, which most likely is one of yours, especially if you're in a Western nation. Now, this is a surveillance power. Let's be clear that the WHO tried to take when they launched their pandemic treaty, but recall that that pandemic treaty was severely handicapped because most of us had such a fit that it would be binding, that it would take away sovereignty of all 110 member states. So they had to take it down a notch, but now instead of a big overarching pandemic treaty, they're just giving themselves these powers spoonful by spoonful. So let's take a look at what this is. They say that they're looking for illnesses, but they are also tracking, take a look, ongoing events, whether they are linked to conflict, climate change, or new and re-emerging pathogens. Now, the only thing that I think the WHO should be worried about there is pathogens.
Isn't that interesting how they continue to widen their scope of what they're in control of and what they're able to track? Just continuously giving themselves more and more surveillance power.
The other stuff, climate change, conflict, that has nothing to do with World Health. Why are they doing this?
Exactly.
This is narrative surveillance wrapped in the language of global health security. Also, we might recall that since 2020, the WHO has been warning about infodemics, which they describe as, look, an overabundance of information, even accurate information, that will make it difficult to make you adopt behaviors. So notice they're saying that
It'll
an
make it
infodemic
difficult.
can even have true information, but it's so much that can't make you do stuff. Well, like what? You might ask. Well, maybe talking about how maintaining high vitamin D levels is essential to not getting sick, but they don't want you to talk about that. They want you to take medicine, pharmaceuticals.
Of course.
Maybe you might talk about how masks don't stop the spread of certain viruses, but they want to instate mask mandates. To them, that's an infodemic. You're getting true information. They can't make you do something. What about these herd immunity? You want to talk about that? They don't want you to. That's an infodemic because they can't make you do things.
We're going to go look into this now. This was just streamed.
Going on that I have found. I was out of town for several days, so please excuse my absence. But I am back and just double checking to make sure everything is. I will share the screen. Man arrested for trespassing at UVU crime scene where Charlie Kirk was killed. Do you remember this? It was a guy, and the sheriff's deputy was walking out next to him, and he had a gun, a rifle in his hand, or what looked like a rifle. Could have been a BB gun or something, but it looked like a rifle. And he was wearing what looked like green scrubs and some kind of white coat. His name was Russell Kennington. Russell Kim Kennington was his name.
Weird.
Let's see if I can pull up a picture of him in his white suit so you guys can see that. It was originally on there. Here we go. This is the image. See if I can find one that has the rifle in it. Here we go. You guys remember this guy? Do you remember this guy? He dressed up like a doctor, and he was, I think, taking selfies or something. But while he was there, while they're taking him out under arrest, some sheriff's deputy to his right is holding a rifle. They're holding a rifle while they're walking down the street. Now think about this. You have one of the most famous assassinations in a long, long, long time. One of the more famous assassinations in a long time, maybe back to the 60s in America. And the scene is not only not secure, but there's a guy for whatever reason, and we get no real explanation about him, but he's up there in scrubs, a white medical coat. Apparently there's a rifle involved in some capacity, and he's being walked off and arrested. Well, I dug around.
There's nothing
weird,
on him.
Right?
The guy's weird as hell.
So I did a little digging. I'll show you the results of said digging. I think you'll be surprised. His full name is Russell Kem Kennington. Russell Kem Kennington. Here is Russell Kem Kennington. I have taken to shortening the duration here. You guys can do whatever you want when you're doing your Google searches, but I've done this to eliminate the buzz that comes after the September 10th. And it's October 20th, and I just put a 4 in. That's how that worked. But look here, this was on July 28th. Now you remember.
Weird.
You guys may remember.
Weird. 100 searches.
That July 20th time window where I said a week or so on either side of there seemed to be some very intense searching being done. Some very intense searching being done. Well, this is in line with that timeline. This was 8 days after July 20th. July 28th.
Wow.
Russell Kem Kennington, out of Israel. Why? Well, it's becoming too uncanny. Now, lest you say, well, that might be a common search anywhere. Well, let's look. Is it a common search anywhere? Same thing. Worldwide? No, not a common search. What about in the United States? Is that a common search in the United States? Yeah. Where is it coming from in the United States? Let's drill down and see if we can find it. Is it coming from Utah? No. What time was it coming in the United States? Again, right about the same time, July 8th, July 27th. So this is the same roughly time period where it's taking place overseas. What about the District of Columbia? Can't tell. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah, they're blocking that.
Somewhere.
They're blocking
inside
that.
the United States, and it's coming from somewhere in Israel. And what is the connection to this guy? Oh, now it's not coming at all. Look. And that's
literally changed in real time. That was crazy.
Isn't that fun?
That was crazy.
I got to stop sharing these before I go live.
Wow.
I've got to stop sharing these before I go live.
That was crazy. They literally...
I'll agree with this. Only because I'm...
Do you guys realize what we just witnessed right now? This was streamed an hour ago, okay? According to YouTube. I remember when he went live, I got an update. This is Baron Coleman. He's the one that's cracked the case open as far as being able to connect suspicious activity with search trends coming from Huntsville, Alabama, and Washington, D.C. for things like the shooter, the guy who, Derek Maxfield, who flew into Provo and then shut off his radar when he flew off, who's likely connected to some child sex trafficking ring, literally, and a huge Chabad Lubavitch donor. I mean, everywhere you look, every single place, there's more questions. But this guy opens up, shows the Google Trends as he's going live, and then as he refreshes them, they're no longer there. He is literally, without a doubt, 1 million trillion bazillion % on a watch list right now for exposing this, and they're literally using him as a tool so that they could tie up their loose ends in real time. That is crazy. In real time, intelligence operators are sitting there watching him research and live stream the results. And then they turn around and scrub that internet history live on television, live on YouTube, live on Google. They eliminate the Google Trend search data that could implicate suspicious activity and triangulate that activity to a particular greatest ally ever in the Middle East. After George Zinn. It doesn't look like him. He looks Ashkenazi. Oh my God, the same exact day. Same exact day. Do you see that? The same day. Here, wait. Let me hop on here. This is the same exact day. Hopefully you guys are listening to the audio here. I'm going to show the image though. July 28th. July 28th. That was a big day where they were planning and putting together this entire psyop. It's all right there. You know what? We could continue to go down this rabbit hole. All it's going to do is reconfirm more and more that this entire thing is a psyop. Frankly, between me and you, I'm not sure if they even killed him. I don't know. There's so much there. The lack of blood is a very odd situation. Anyways, guys, that's going to be the end of my episode. We could dig into this. All it's going to do is just continue to show just how suspicious and weird this entire case is. And it is. And to take it at face value, you have to be a conspiracy theorist. I believe the amount of evidence that Tyler Robinson, I think there's more evidence that the earth is flat than Tyler Robinson. Okay? Anyways, guys, have a kick-ass day. Do me a favor, continue to use critical thought. Continue to hit me up and let me know what sort of subjects you guys want to talk about, because that's what's really important to me, is that if you guys want me to do some internet sleuthing, you guys want me to dig into some stuff, I will happily do that. Okay? Here's my Facebook page, Fear Porn. Like I said, I'm very new. I've got 5 followers, and I'm only following me on here. So, welcome to Fear Porn, and thank you so much for watching today, and I really hope that I can have the opportunity to continue to be able to share this time with you. It's very it's flattering. Even if it's just a few of you, thank you for spending your time with me. I appreciate that, and I intend to continue to show my appreciation and have a